Racing on Thursday takes place out at Turffontein, Thursday the 2nd of May 2024. 8 races on the program. We are racing on the inside track, and race number 1 is set to get underway at 12:20. It is the start of the bar pot, a maiden juvenile plate for fillies over 1450 meters. Joining me on the line is Alistair Cohen, and Alistair, how are you doing?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Raheel. Start of a new month, obviously, with the public holiday on Wednesday, and then the first meeting of the month in Joburg for May, and 2 days away from the start of champion season at Hollywoodbets Greyville, which I cannot wait for. At the end of the championships, it can be a little bit of a downer in the half-out, but this card is anything but. I think race 6, that progress plate with Hollywoodbets Durbanville, 4, beg your pardon, Hollywoodbets Durbanville entries, a few short price favourites that I don't think we can oppose on the card. So the grass will still be green, and I think spirits will still be high on the half-out going into this meeting. I'm really looking forward to it, but obviously in the build-up to a big weekend.
There seems to be a few nice horses stepping out on Thursday, and the first of those is in race number 1. Number 5, Mountain High, who is quite a short price favourite at 5-10. 5-1 about Valvara, it's 6-1 Key Worker, and then it's 8-1 and Better Ball. Those now, it clearly shows what Sean Terry thinks of this daughter of Rafif. Third on debut, and then he threw into the deep end when taking on winners in the fillies nursery. And she was far from disgrace behind Little Ballerina. We saw the horse that ran second there, Just Reckless, come through to win the Grade 3 Strelitzia over the weekend at Hollywoodbets Scottsville. So that form has been franked. She runs as if the extra will suit her, and there's no doubt that she's the filly that could take a power of beating in race 1.
And to add to that, Raheel, the horse who ran 4th in the fillies nursery, the Volkerbostra fillies nursery, You Bring Me Joy, won, beat Dark Winter, who ran 2nd to Just Reckless over the weekend. The horse who ran 7th, Famous Lady, came out and ran 2nd in the Pretty Polly on Saturday at Turffontein as well. This form line is just super strong. It's very hard to oppose. Number 5, Mountain High, gets champion jockey elect on board, Richard Faree for Sean Terry, whose yard well and truly turned the corner over the weekend. The first timer that makes some appeals. Number 4, Key Worker, full sister to Surcharge. Gavin Lorena's an eye-catching jockey booking. It's not the Pettigrew way to ready them up first time out as well, so that just enhances the chances about number 5, Mountain High. Whatever price she is, you got to take it, because I think she'll win. Bar pot's my suggested banker. My suggested bet, and she's a banker for me, number 5, Mountain High. Very, very, very hard to oppose. If she goes missing, I think there'll be a lot of upset people around.
I think that will certainly be the case, but I don't think that she's going to go missing. She'll get the job done in race number 1 for favourite backers. Race 2, maiden juvenile plate, 1450 meters, 12:55 is the off time. Favourite number 2, Lead the Charge at 14-10, Messalina at 28-10, Serrano is at 9-2, 11-2 about Zip Code, and then it's 8-1 and Better Ball. Those now Lead the Charge. Last time out he ran behind Gorgeous Klein, but they are stepping him back up in trip now to 1450 meters. Quite interesting, because maybe they would have thought that 1400 at his second start was a bit too far for him, therefore bringing him back in trip, but he's back up. Craig Zaki aboard, 1 draw. He looks to be one of the leading lights. I thought number 9, Messalina, would be a massive runner as well, based on her last 2 performances. And on that run to Moonlight Trader, there's absolutely nothing to choose between the pair.
Yeah, there's a bit more depth to this race. I'm actually looking elsewhere for my winner. I've got 3 horses in the bar pot. In the same boat as you would Lead the Charge, despite having good winning claims and coming out of draw 1, which is going to be an advantage. I'm also a little bit sceptical about him stepping up to 1450 meters. And I know that the Moonlight Trader form is under the spotlight here with number 9, Messalina, but has Messalina just suddenly improved over the extra distance, or is it because the horses that she's been running with, or the company that she's been running with, are slightly weaker? I'm not convinced. So from that point of view, I think there's going to be a lot of improvement to come from number 6, Serrano. I was at the VAR when he made his debut, and he's a very good-looking horse. He's a striking son of Buffalo Bill Cody. I suppose they all are, so maybe let's not judge him on looks, because they're going to be slow Buffalo Bill Codys who look like good horses, who look like, nicely put-together horses. So I think number 6, Serrano, will improve despite a bad draw. Soma also doesn't ready them up first time out. They come on naturally. Got the green light, famously got beaten on debut. So not that I'd compare Serrano to Got the Green Light, not yet anyway. But the point is there'll be plenty of meat on the bone from run 1 to run 2. Muzieni takes over. Since they got back together, ironic that I'm talking about Got the Green Light. I think that was the last horse that Muzi rode for Joey for a number of years until recently, and since they got back together, since they struck up the band again, Muzi's been riding very well for Soma with all the horses hitting the boards. 8 Zip Code is also going to come on with the extra distance. He was well beaten by Truth. Of course, in that race was Xanthar, who's a stable companion to Lead the Charge, so there's a line for the Aussies here, and I have an inkling there's not a hell of a lot between Lead the Charge and Xanthar. And Zip Code's got scope to improve. He was never bred to go that well over 1160 meters, and I know the connections were very pleased with the run, so expect something nice to come from number 8 Zip Code, and then obviously number 2 Lead the Charge. His form speaks for itself. He's probably a reliable place accumulator horse. I've got him in the bar pot as well. I make him a chance, but I don't think he's past the post.
That's race number 2. A few horses are in with winning chances, and it may not be as easy as the market suggests. Would Lead the Charge at 14-10. Race number 3, maiden plate, 1,000 meters the distance. 1:30 is the off time. It is the start of the pick 6, and your favorite is Master Casper at 3-10. 5-2 Wolf Mountain, smashing at 10-1, and then it is 33-1 and better ball. Those, according to the market, only 2 horses can win, but if we have to look at number 6 Master Casper and the form that he brings into the race, we all know that sales race on Met Day behind Little Ballerina, lethal form line, and he showed quite a bit on debut before just sort of tiring late on in the day, and obviously he's now being gelded. He's out of that speedy mare La Volta. Gavin aboard. Should take a power of beating, Alistair.
Yeah, he's 3-10 and 3-10 for a reason here, Raheel. The only horse that you can possibly leave it open-ended for is number 8, Wolf Mountain. If he's got any ability, then he should go fairly close. But I think number 6, Master Casper's a hard horse to beat. I think you hit the nail on the head. First run as a gelding, I think, is key here. Perhaps also dropping to 1,000 meters. Not that he was disgraced at all in the Cape Racing Sales Slipper behind Little Ballerina. He finished in front of horses that have come out and won, just to name a few. Magazole, Prom Queen, those came out and won out of that form and finished behind Master Casper, as well as a few others. He's a half-brother to Master Archie, so the drop to 1,000 meters must be in his favour. But I think more than anything, the gelding is going to work in absolute charm. I remember him in Cape Town. I mean, not hot, but he might have been signs of inexperience, but perhaps a nervous horse in his first 2 starts at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. Not that it took the shine out of his performances, but I think he's going to settle down. Also, being based at Turffontein is going to be a huge advantage for him as well. So he's 3-10 for a reason. There's no form on offer from the other horses. Nothing that screams that this is a winner in waiting. The only horse that can trouble it is number 8, Wolf Mountain, being from Mike de Coxiard, being by Buffalo Bill Cody, and having Richard Ferry on board. But then from a pick 6 perspective, if Wolf Mountain does win, you can't see Master Casper not being the first race runner home. So Barpot, place accumulator, pick 6 banker, number 6 Master Casper. He's 3-10. I loathe to put 3-10 in all to comes because for me it just does absolutely nothing to the perm unless you're taking a 10 horse all to come across the world. But I don't expect him to come unstuck regardless.
Yeah, the Mountain High race 1, Master Casper race 3, 2 odds-on favourites that look the part, and they should be able to get the job done in their respective races. Moving along to race number 4, maiden plate, 1,450 meters. Scars of War is at 12-10, Eremitage at 5-1, Strewn Sky at 6-1, and then it's 7-1 and better bar those. 2-year-old filly taking on older company, taking on the boys as well. 12-10, skinny odds for me, Alistair. I must be honest, I like the look of number 1, Eremitage. I thought his improvement last time out was quite nice, running third behind Mocha Frap. He's now having his third run after a layoff. He's got a slightly awkward draw in gate number 7, but I think that there's more to come from the son of Patala Palace, and at around his current quote, I think he offers some nice value, and for me, I think he could be the right horse in the race.
I think there are a lot of horses here that are open to improvement, and he, funny enough, one of them, even though he's had 4 runs, and we're comparing him to Sicily with 2 runs under the belt and Scars of War with 1 run under the belt. I've left Eremitage out of the bar pot, but there's no way I'd leave him out of the pick 6 and jackpots. I've got 2, 10 and 11 here, and in no particular order. I'm a bit ginger with this race. Number 2, Strewn Sky runs like he'll need the added distance. I think he's needed his runs back. I know that the form line of Van Meij Nigel's pretty weak. I know the Playboy Bomber obviously came out and franked his own form behind Struan Sky, or beating Struan Sky last time out. I think overall Struan Sky will be most effective over 1,800 meters, somewhere around there. But I still think he's coming along the right way after that long break. So I've got time for him, although he can never be a good thing. Number 10, Sicily, good improvement from run 1 to run 2. Muzieni takes over for Michael de Kock, also from that little ballerina run. If Serrano runs well a couple of races earlier, which I think he will, that'll enhance the chances, number 10, Sicily. And then number 11, Scars of War. Kindred Heart ran second behind Bosom Buddy, came out and franked the form, so that's a feather in the cap for number 11, Scars of War. I also don't think she's foolproof. I wouldn't make her a good thing. I don't think she's past the post by any stretch of the imagination, but you got to like enough of what you saw first time out. Had every chance to win, but was outrun late by Bosom Buddy and Kindred Heart. Is that a little bit of a worry stepping up in distance? Shouldn't be, because she's obviously by Heavenly Blue, winner over Grade 1 over 1,800 meters out of a mare that produced that horse Dr. Doolittle, who was at his best over 1,800, 2,000 meters. So although not running like getting the trip, she is bred to get the trip. So in a bit of a quandary from that perspective with number 11, Scars of War. And then obviously 1 and 3, more particularly number 1, Eremitage, with lots of scope to improve. Pretty similar profile to number 2, Struan Sky. After a long break, probably needed the runs back. Better last run to Maka Frappe. Certainly not out of it.
Few horses in with winning claims in race number 4. Race number 5, maiden plate fillies and mares, 1,450 meters the distance. Horse number 10, Sneak Preview, is your favorite at 2-1. Number 1, Kylie's Angel, is at 5-2. Number 9, Easy On Me, is trading at 7-2 in the market, returning off a lengthy layoff. Number 2, Sylvan Lady at 8-1, along with number 12, Tipperary. It's then 12-1, and Better Bar those. Now that form line behind Honourable Member is under the spotlight here, because you've got Sneak Preview and Kylie's Angel, and we'll obviously have to wait and see how Messalina does go in one of the earlier races. And there's no doubt if she happens to come through and run a bomb race, or possibly even get the job done in race number 2, well then the form of these two horses will be enhanced, and they could certainly fight it out.
Raheel, I'm very uneasy about this race. There's obviously no real form to work with when it comes to horses that are exposed maidens. I mean, Villa Samaya 19 starts, Perini Palace 11 starts. Not that I can possibly make a case for them. Eve's Apple not done too much, not ripped up any trees. So I've come down with 9, 10, and 12 in my bar pot, but Sneak Preview does jump off the page as being the most progressive horse in the race, but there are definitely alarm bells here with number 10, Sneak Preview. Lucky Hudalakis' yard, there is money for horses generally when they expect to go well. A lot of times they're on the mark, and Sneak Preview's drifted off the boards in 2 starts. First run, a bit of a flat run behind Free in Seattle, which puts her behind Villa Samaya. And then last time a bet, obviously a very good run behind Honourable Member, but again, no interest in the market. So a little bit worried from that perspective about number 10, Sneak Preview, but I'm going to take a punt with her being the right one because of the disclaimers about everyone else in the race. 9, Easy On Me, if she's nearly ready, she could probably end up winning this race. Her debut run to Tamil Tigress was certainly above average, but off for 259 days, I mean, that just screams a horse that will probably just need 1 run, 2 runs before we see the best of her. Gavin Larena takes her out for Ray Magna. When they team up, they generally mean business, so maybe that's a hint that the horse is ready enough to go well. And then I've got an inkling that number 12, Tipperary, is going to run well. Draw 1, Muzieni takes over. 4, Paul Matchett. Very disappointing last time behind VJ's Angel. There's no real sign that form is going to end up working out to be a bomb form line. There'll probably be a few winners from that form line, horses that do end up running a feature race level that weren't too far away from VJ's Angel, including the winner herself. But I think the extra trip will suit her. It might not look like that from her first run over 1,000 meters to her second over 1,200 meters, but being by Lancaster Bomber out of an Eliodor mare, I think there might be something left in the locker for number 12, Tipperary. So that could end up being the value in the race at a reasonable price, but couldn't write off Kylie's Angel, couldn't write off number 2, Sylvan Lady, but when you're looking as deep as that, then I think you're running into a bit of trouble. Go as many horses as you can in the pick 6 and jackpot in this race, although there are still a few that you can quite comfortably put a line through.
I think number 12 could be some nice value here with Muzi aboard at around 8-1, and could be a nice find from Alistair now that this filly is stepping up in trip it could certainly eke significant improvement out of the Stort of Lancaster Bomber. Race number 6, 1800 meters the distance. 3:15 is the off time. William Ironarm 5-10, Barbaresco 22-10, Pyromaniac at 10-1. And then it's 12-1 and Better Ball. Those, when you have a look at the best weighted column, it's one horse only, well clear of the opposition here. 14 points clear, and that's number 3, William Ironarm. On his run in the South African Classic, he's got the beating of Barbaresco, and we saw Barbaresco come through to win next time out, and he duly obliged getting the job done at those short odds. But this horse, William Ironarm, he's had limited starts, only 5 starts for 2 wins, and his run, I thought his run in the Classic was quite a nice performance behind Purple Pitcher. We saw Purple Pitcher come through to win the Derby, franking that form once again. The form line has stood up, and he should be hard to beat in this contest, Alistair, given that there's been support for him, and he's a horse that clearly seems to have a lot of ability.
Yeah, he should win this Raheel. I think that he'll be a hard horse to beat. Got hammered by the handicapper for his run in the Gauteng Guineas, but justifiably so. Follow that up by confirming his form to Purple Pitcher in the South African Classic. I was a little bit surprised that he dodged the Derby, but there were apparently reasons for that with number 3, William Ironarm, and he's just the fact that he holds Barbaresco, who looks like his only danger in the South African Classic, I think points everything into William Ironarm's favour. I think, to keep it pretty simple, I think he'll win. I think he'll stake his claim for getting into the Hollywoodbets Durbanville. He's probably, if the July was run next week and they had to decide the final field today, he'll be one of those horses where the connections will be on the edge of their seats hoping that he got in. So a win here would do no harm, and we're not going to give him a golden ticket to the Hollywoodbets Durbanville by winning a progress plate at the start of May in Joburg, but it will do him a lot of good, probably with an eye on the Daily News 2000. I'm sure that will be his target, to A, show him Hollywoodbets Greyville, and B, show the panel that he's good enough to compete in that race. So although probably won't be 100% wound up, I just think that he is better than anyone else in this race, better handicap than anyone else in this race. That's plain to see. So William Ironarm for me is a banker. Barbaresco, his biggest and probably only danger. My good friend Pyromaniac, the horse without a distance. Funny enough, I'm going to race the 2 Tarry horses home just for my own personal interest. I think Jordan will finish in front of Pyromaniac. How's that for a ridiculous statement? So, but that's the way I read it. I'm now looking a bit too deep into a race that probably doesn't need too much scrutiny. 3 William Ironarm, bank for in all bets.
That's race number 6. Race number 7, it's an MR84 handicap. 15:55 is the off time, 1800 meters the distance. And your favorite is number 2, Twatwa Cut. The frustrating and costly to follow Twatwa Cut. Richard Fourie aboard. Could it just be an omen? Richard Fourie chasing 334. The horse is named 334. Mike the Cock, Hollywood Syndicate. Could it all be set up for this horse to get the job done? I mean, it would be a perfect omen.
Yeah, well, it is a perfect storm. I didn't actually pick that up. He's a big chance, number 2, Twatwa Cut, although he doesn't win too often. There were plans to get him into the Betway Summer Cup of bottom weight. And this time last year, he went on a good string of runs. Maybe he liked the harder going, and he was performing nicely. It looked like to be a very nice stayer in the making. I think his Achilles heel might just be the inside track. I know he's performed fairly well on the inside track, but I think on a more free-striding course, he's a length or 2 better. It's hard for me to nail my colours to the mast in this race, Raheel, because the 2 horses that make the most appeal are 1 and 2, but they've got to give so much weight away. Slinky Mapimpi 62 kilo, Twatwa Cut 61. Both of them have good winning chances. They are my top 2 selections, but they certainly wouldn't be the end of the race. Slinky Mapimpi obviously didn't stay last time over 2,400 meters. I thought that was a bit crazy, but he's now back to a more respectable trip. He ran so far above his rating at his penultimate start, it was actually frightening in a progress plate, giving half a kilo to Give Me a Shot, who I think is rated 114, and Slinky Mapimpi ran well above his rating. So on that penultimate start, he's got every chance. But again, his 1,800 meters just going to stretch him. Is he a better miler? He's got Stratham on board, so he's going to get every chance of seeing out the trip. So he's the horse that I like most, but with a question mark against the distance. 2 Twatwa Cut for pure consistency. And then down the page, I think Vesuvio, a horse that I've been for a lot of times. I think this horse is alive as well. Ran in the middle stakes last time out. There were horses better than this just in front of him. Is it Street Art? No, it wasn't Street Art. It was the other Peter horse that did quite well, whose name currently escapes me. He runs in the Lang colours, the yellow with the black diamonds. Also ran in the... That's it, Silent War. Thank you, Raheel. Silent War was in front of him, and I believe if Silent War was in a race like this, he'd be a strong chance as well. In fact, I think he'd win. So Vesuvio from draw 1, another horse that I wouldn't let run loose. So I'm not going to necessarily narrow it down to those 3, but I think that those are the likeliest winners in race number 7.
It does look to be quite a competitive race. I think you've got to take a stance here. You're either in the camp of numbers 1 or 2, or you're looking to beat them. And if you are looking to beat them, well then I think it does lend itself to being a potential field race, because you can't really single one horse out here. And horse number 7, Vesuvio, 20-1 in the market. That could be a brilliant find if this horse happens to come through and run a big race in race number 7. And he's at around 7-2 for a place, so there's some nice value about Vesuvio. Race number 8, it's an MR72 handicap over 1,200 meters. 4:30 is the off time. Number 1, Lulu's Boy, and number 12, Empress Game are your joint favorites at 9-2. In the ether is at 5-1. It's Dancing Dora at 6-1. 7-1 King Rahul. There's been a lot of outside support for number 8 Nazare from 20-1 into 10-1, and then it's 12-1 and better bar those. Now, when we have a look at race number 8, it seems like one of those trappy contests to end off the day on Thursday out at Turffontein. Looking at the field, do you have a strong feeling about any horse here?
No, there are just a few horses that are on my radar running in this last race. Lulu's Boy probably coming to hand. Needed his first run back from a 4-month layoff behind Kian the Conqueror. 2 runs since then have been good. Now gets Richard Faree. That's going to be in his favour. The draw's not in his favour, but his running style, I think, will adapt him to getting over. If he can lug round the heavyweights, which he should be able to, he's done it before, he should be there and thereabouts. My top choice here is number 3, In the Ether. This mare enjoys the distance, the 1,200 meters, and also has a good turn of foot that makes her a force on the Turffontein inside track. And in February, she ran twice, running in similar style, coming from off the pace, ridden stone cold by Ryan Munger. I'd say that Raymond Danielson's got a similar style to Munger, and that he can switch a horse off and then switch it on the drop of a hat. And if he times it right, then number 3, In the Ether, will be chasing them down. Might be stretched a little over 1,200 meters, but I think now the way that she's running, she might be able to reach the trip, being at the age of 5 and having 42 starts. So she's a chance. 8 Nazare, there is outside support. It's definitely not stable money, but he's working nicely. He hated the Val Straight last time out. His first run back from a long break was very good behind Duke of Rock. If you watched it again, you would have thought, probably would have been bluffed into thinking that his next start he'll be a big chance. But he's doing very nicely. Draw 1's going to help his chances as well. Candice has been waiting for the inside track and a good draw for a long time for the Son of Water Windsor. So definitely a good place chance. I couldn't possibly tip him to win because he is what he is, but optimistic that he'll run into the first 4. And another horse that's been on my radar for a while, number 11, Fennec Fox, now rated 62, another 2-pound reduction. Cabello Mazzaniani rides very well for Robin Class, and obviously Purple Pitcher being number 1 case in point. Will she reach 1,200 meters? That remains to be seen, but on this show I've gone with Fennec Fox so many times, got a reasonable draw. I think she's a player if she gets the trip. And then Empress Game, I don't know about her over 1,200 meters. She takes a while to warm up. She might be caught out on the inside track of a 1,200, but got Kamalo on board. He knows her, so hopefully he can switch her on at the right time for all her supporters. So lots of horses in with chances here. 3 my top choice though, In the Ether.
The 7 or Circus Light, surely that's got to be a chance. Stratum riding for Grant Maroon, you don't see that often. And this horse, obviously he's got that 6 draw, but I think Stratum can work a bit of magic aboard the son of Duke of Marmalade.
Also a player. I looked at him long and hard, Raheel, and I'm just coming down on the side of the stable companion over number 7, Circus Lights. I think In the Ether's a better horse than Circus Lights, but also you got the Stratum factor. Definitely not out of it.
certainly does look to be a very, very trappy contest to end off the day's racing out at Turffontein. We're going to move along to the suggested bet now, and Alistair will take us through suggested bet, which is a bar pot, and it does begin in race number 1 at 12:20, where we've got Mountain High, who is quite a strong favourite. So Alistair, take it away.
Yep, so it's banker 5 in the first leg of the bar pot, Mountain High. Second leg, bit more open. Lead the charge, number 2, 6 Serrano, and 8 Zip Code are in there by 6. Banker Master Casper. Race 4, fourth leg of the bar pot, got numbers 2 Stroonsky, 10 Sicily, and 11 Scars of War in there. Race 5, the race that I'm just a little bit ginger about. 9 Easy on Me, 10 Sneak Preview, and 12 Tipperary. That's my outsider in the race. But banker number 3, William Ironarm. So nice, affordable bar pot. I don't expect that to pay a record, but I think if you take it a couple of times, I think you'll do okay.
That is Alistair's bar pot, which, as I mentioned, will start in race number 1. That is the preview for Turffontein on Thursday. Alistair, thank you very much. All the best, and enjoy the rest of your week.
Yep, thanks, Rahil. Same to you, same to all the viewers. Hopefully it's a good Thursday as we obviously start off the month, and looking forward to the action on Saturday. Got a double header. Hollywoodbets Greyville's easily a better card than what's going on at Turffontein, but hopefully there'll be a few nuggets at Turffontein alongside an excellent card in KZN.
Plenty to look forward to in the next few days here in South Africa, with the KZN Champion season set to begin on Saturday. All eyes will definitely be on the horses that step out in the Guineas and in the Drill Hall Stakes. All the best with racing on Saturday, on Thursday rather, out at Turffontein, and hopefully it treats you well.